Hello and welcome to Everyday Petrolhead. I'm your host Terrence Anderson and welcome to my channel. My camera is deciding that it didn't want to behave today, so I guess I'm going to have to do this using the iPhone. So about a week ago, I decided to deal with the air suspension problem. As you can see, I've been having problems on the back left side of the car where the ride height is really low because the bag is low. And my solution to this was to order the airbag to replace it. But in the interim, while I'm waiting for it to come, I decided to patch the bag. Now, again, like I said in the previous video, I'm not saying that you should patch your bag and that's the solution to the air spring that decided that it didn't want to work anymore. These things go out after a certain amount of time. It's a wear and tear item, so obviously you're gonna have to replace it. But I needed to go to work and we only have 2 cars. So I decided to patch it using some Permatech sealant and it worked. A little bit. It slowed the leaking significantly out of the airbag, just enough for the car to get where it needed to go. And whenever I got where I needed to go, I put the jack underneath that side so the bag didn't deflate too much. And it also helped the pump to not have to run constantly, burning out the pump. So it was an interim solution until the bag got here. But let's see what's in the box. All right, so I ordered from FCP Euro with their lifetime warranty protection, which is great because if anything goes wrong with the bag, I can always get another one. So thank you for that. Out you go. And here is the replacement. Oh, yeah, a little slippery being that it's in its own bag. The air spring from Arno. It comes with new clips and seals, and it's time to get to work on this. Now, I went ahead and preliminarily disassembled some things, but usually what happens is you need to take away this panel. You need to take out the plastic piece that's here and the plastic piece that sits there. Now, I have one of them here. The other one's sitting in my garage, and it looks similar to this. There's a black piece here that needs to come out and a plastic one there. I'm gonna do the right one in another couple of weeks, but I'm gonna do the left one right now because it's a necessity. I have to do this right now, otherwise I can't drive my vehicle. Once the plastic is out, the next step is to get this grommet up. And it's a little bit of work and it's kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. But I went ahead and took care of some of the work off camera. I'm probably gonna do a lot of the work off camera and then show you, separately because my camera decided it didn't want to work. I have a tripod that's sitting that's kind of pointless at this point. So yeah, I'm just gonna bypass some of the actual work and just talk you guys through what I did. Now, normally at this point, one of the things you want to consider doing is, well, actually not consider, you should deflate this ballast by opening this nut right here and letting the air leak out. This is one of my air lines. It leads over and around and back to the pump that's sitting right underneath the spare tire. But since the bag is empty and I have a battery cutoff switch, this has been drained and this is empty, so I'm not going to bother opening that. That way I don't have to worry about that fitting and I can move on to the next step. Now, mind you, holding it on is really just these 2 clips, 1, 2, and there's a clip on the bottom underneath the car that I will show you when I get under the car, but first we got to jack the car up. All right, so the next thing that needs to come out is that clip right here. It's right there. So this is what's holding it on the bottom. It's just a tiny clip. Well, I shouldn't say tiny, it's a pretty beefy looking clip, but you push it on and it locks it in place. And the bag's right here. This is the bottom of the base, and then this is the actual bag up here, so I have to take that out. All right, bottom clip is out, so now it's time to go get the ones on the top. Like I said, I'll film what I can, but stuff that I can't do on my own without using my other hand, I'm just gonna skip and explain in the video afterwards. But once you get these out and you get this hose off, it gets pretty easy to get it out at that point. So I'm gonna go ahead and compress this spring. There we go. All right, so now the hose is off, so all that's left to do is to get these 2 stubborn clips out. Now that the clips are off, all I have to do is lower the A-frame for the suspension, and the bag should fall right out. So now I gotta jiggle. It's already loose. Yep, 2 hands. All right, so the bad bag is out, and yeah, like I said, I put a little bit of the Permatex sealant around the edges. Primarily, the edges are where it folds are what cracks after an extended period of time, and this is not a permanent solution. I mean, obviously, look at how it's peeling or whatever. So don't think that what I said in the previous video was a permanent solution, but it did hold up to keep me on the road just for a few days while waiting for the bag to come in. So yeah, and looking at it, it looks like it's the original bag. So this bag has 141,000 miles on it, and it's going to be replaced with this Arno unit that is brand new from FCP Euro, and it has these notches on it. Just so you know, when you're mounting this, you need to make sure you pay attention to where these things are oriented, because again, this one says LH at the top right here. It's kind of hard to see, but these are the posts, like 1 and 2 for the clips, and then this notch lines you up. It's the opposite on the right side, so you don't want to try to put in the right side and get frustrated and realize it needs to go on the other side of the car. So let's get this thing back in the car. Another little convenient thing that they add to the bottom of this thing before I get going is this little notch that keeps you aligned the correct way. So this should help guide the top end if you line up the bottom first. Just take stock of where the notch is. As you can see right here, it faces forward. So that should make things a little bit easier. All right, this was a pain in the butt trying to get compressed. So one of the things I noticed I'd have to do, which I didn't want to do it initially, is take this rubber plastic thing over the seal over the top of the opening off, so it makes it easier to compress it. All right, so now it is up and in, and I just have to clip it in. And one of the things I love about FCP Euro, which is why I order from them for parts a lot, is they think about everything. Obviously, they probably have a team of mechanics on board who dealt with these cars. And one of the things they decided to do was, on top of you getting the bag, you also get replacement clips, right? But because BMW and plastic, they give you the little connecting piece that goes around the hose, because mine broke as soon as I tried to get it off, and I have a spare right there. So thank you, FCP Euro. There's the broken one, and there's the new one. All right, so the bottom clip is back on, top clip is in, but I'm still fighting with the hose because, you know, in typical BMW fashion, everything goes 98% of the way, and the last 2% just doesn't want to stick. So I got to go fight with this a little bit. All right, so now that she is down, it's in this position. So my next step is to put back in my battery cutoff switch. Everything comes back to life. And we turn her on and see if there's any air leaks before I reassemble all of this. All right, I hear the pump working. I don't hear any leaks from the system, but it just seems like it's got a lot of pressure to build up because the ballast was empty and the bag was completely empty. So far so good. While we're waiting to see what's going on with the pump, I'm going to go ahead and start INPA and see if I can take a look at the pressure readings. Yeah, so you can see the back left is all the way down. The other ones are in moderate levels. So we're going to give it a second for it to work and see if it can to build up the pressure on its own. So far though, the leveling sensor seems fine. I haven't gotten any notices about the air pressure or the level, because I think the system is still running and doing its checks. Now, the thing where it says self-leveling inactive, this software will actually remove that code. IMPA is really good at removing that code. So I don't have it right now, but I did have it when the bag decided that it didn't want to work anymore, and it took care of it. So I'm gonna give it a few more minutes and then we'll intervene if it's not working. I'm checking on this end and I don't see, or I don't hear any leaks. So I should be good to go. I'm wondering if the car is waiting to see if there's somebody sitting in the car before making any kind of notification or updates on the level. It, I think, has just filled this tank with air, but it hasn't transferred into the actual suspension, or the spring, I should say, the air spring. So now we do it the hard way. So we go back, we go to activate, we say by hand, and what we want to do is the rear left up. And I'll stop it here to just check. Yeah, it looks like we're almost back in business. So now the fun part, having to balance this off. It gets tricky because you got to go up and down a couple times. There we go. So now we should be good. I generally keep the front a little bit lower because the front sits really high. But let's take a look and see how we did. And that looks good. So that gap looks good. And I'm not hearing any leaks in here, so now I can reassemble all of this. Yeah, we look like we're good to go, and I'm listening in here and I don't hear any hissing. So I will call this a win. All right, so we're back together. Everything is in. All the plastics are back in the side. The door is on, and the bottom of the trunk is in. So, whew. You know, it wasn't that bad of a job to do. I think I spent 98% of the time getting everything together and taken apart, and in total it probably took me about I want to say 35 minutes, maybe 40, once I figured out what I was doing. And then I was stuck for about an hour because I didn't realize that I put the clip for the air hose in upside down. So that's definitely my fault, that's user error. Once I resolved that, this took another 20 minutes. So total time, I'd say an hour and 10 minutes. And using IMPA to adjust the levels was very helpful. I balanced everything out pretty quickly. Again, sorry I wasn't able to do this with you seeing everything fully as I do it because I was using the phone because my camera decided it didn't want to work right. So I got what I could. But this is a win. The left side is done. I need to do the right side, and I'll probably do the right side in about a week or two, just to avoid running into the problem of the bag blowing and having the same problem again. In this bag, I'm not really upset that it went. Again, it's been, 2006 was when the car was sold. It was probably manufactured at the end of 2005, so for a car that's been on the road since then till now, not bad. 141,000 miles in all those years. Yeah, I can't really be upset with that. And the temporary fix, it did hold me over for a day or two, a little over 3 days. I don't recommend this as a solution. I don't want anybody to think patching an airbag is a solution. Again, it was something I had to do because we only currently have 2 vehicles, which, I'm gonna have to talk to the wife about that. Sounds like a sports car is needed for myself, so I can have 3 cars. But as a preventative scenario to keep us on the road for at least 2 days, for me to get back and forth, and the wife picked up the kids, it helped. But now that we have the actual proper unit in there, we're good to go. And yeah. Also, I'm gonna make a change to the channel. I've been uploading every 2 weeks, but I think I'm gonna start doing every week, at least once a week. I don't know if I could do more than that, but I'm gonna try my very best. So thank you for watching, and like, share, and subscribe if you like the content that I'm creating. And join you next time with Everyday Petrolhead. Thanks.